and welcome to the Assay TV. I'm at Mining Indaba today in Cape Town as part of our investment series, and I'm delighted to be joined by Jill Cooper, who is the Director of Responsible Investing at Orion Resource Partners. So thank you for being here today.
It's an honor, thank you.
So the first question, so as the Director of Responsible Investing, how do you define sustainable investment for us?
It's a really good question. When I'm looking at a project or we're looking at doing a project, investing in a project, I will look at certain standards, international standards like Equator Principles and International Finance Corporation Performance Standards. We call them the IFC standards. And those help me identify which criteria are important in a sustainable investment. The other thing we will look at is industry standards like SASB, the gold standard, some of the specific mineral standards that are out there. And I will work with an independent consultant and we'll define what are the most important topics for an investment. So overall, sustainable investing to me means considering all the risks, costs, liabilities, and opportunities around a mine project in a mine that could affect the community, the environment, the mine itself, the worker, employee safety, and governance, which is ethics and things like that.
So to go into that a little bit more, how do you use this framework as you advise companies in your portfolio?
Really good question too. For the diligence side, like when we're considering investing, we will work with an independent consultant and we will conduct a due diligence. So either I'll go in the field at the mine site or the independent consultant does. And we take the standards that I spoke about, the IFC and Equator Principles, and we'll conduct a gap assessment. And we identify where they have opportunities to improve, where maybe they have risks that they haven't really identified. And we'll also identify what they're doing really well. Like they might have a really strong community engagement program and the community might be very, very excited about the mine and the project and the opportunities for the community. We'll also look at what might happen when the mine is closed. And so what happens when the mine's operating, and are they thinking about legacy? Are they thinking about what's going to happen at the end? If during the diligence we're satisfied, then we may not have a lot of requirements. If we have gaps, which usually we do, we will put them in our contract and we'll say, here are the conditions. Once we have invested in a project, we're in the monitoring phase. And that means I kind of change hats and I am now helping the project understand what it means to fill those gaps and guide them and give them resources or give them access to us or other consultants who can help them figure out what are the best ways to turn a risk into an opportunity. So by the time that project is ready to be maybe sold to a larger mining company, it meets all the criteria of an international mine.
Okay. So let's look at Africa a little bit more. So what are your thoughts on the key opportunities across Africa and what are the risks specifically to the continent?
Yeah, Africa has tremendous opportunities around mining and they can really truly help set the stage on how to do it well and what the vision of the future could be. Many countries have strong regulations and they require environment, social impact assessments and permits. And what we're hoping is that, if they have a good, strong regulation, that they have a good, strong enforcement program with it, that the country understands what it means to have a responsible mine in their place, a sustainable mine, and that they're willing to help the company understand that these are important and enforce on it. Africa also has a very amazing workforce that is very knowledgeable and passionate about mining. I think it's a continent, and of course I'm speaking for an entire continent, but it's a continent that in general is not afraid of a mining project that's done well in their backyard. And so the opportunities to show how local communities could be trained to be the workforce for the mine and that the legacy that a mine leaves behind could actually help a community flourish. And those kind of examples are not always easy to see in other countries and other continents. So I'm really excited about what can be done in Africa.
So a very exciting week ahead at Indaba then. And finally, Jill, what are you, as I said, we're at Mining Indaba, obviously. What are you hoping to see from this week in the event? What do you hope to get out of it?
So we joined a group, Orion joined a group called Mining 2030 a little over a year ago. It is led by the Church of England Pension Fund and other international organizations. And we have several roundtables this week where we're hoping to engage with Indaba participants, members, or attendees, and engage on what mining could look like by 2030. So this is a group led by investors, the Mining 2030, and we're trying to say, where are we today and where could we be by 2030? And then what is the role of the investor? So I'd really like to hear from participants here, and I already have this morning, it's so exciting, to say, where do you feel like we are today? And what do you think a responsible mine would be in 2030? And then help create that vision. So very excited to be here for that.
Very excited.
Yes,
Thank you
yes.
so much for your time, Jill. It's
Thank
great to have
you.
you.